Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, and of course it is my timeline video. Not sure if this video is going to be late or not because I am losing my voice very slowly. So we'll have to see if I get this video out or not. But yes, obviously I am doing my annual timeline video for New Year's Eve. However, this might be out on New Year's Day. We'll have to see. But of course, what this video is I go through each and every update from this year of Tapped Out, and I give my opinions, give my brief opinions on each update, and kind of give it an overall thumbs up or thumbs down. So yeah, we'll get straight into it, and we'll go to the first update of this year, which of course is Not Yet Spring Cleaning. So yeah, Not Yet Spring Cleaning. So overall, this was an interesting update. It was quite unique in some ways. It took obviously an original story. It wasn't something from an episode, and they tried to make this whole kind of mystery behind this original Brown House, which was an original thing from the game. For the game. We got Mrs. Glick and Lewis Clark. Miss Glick's house, obviously, Springfield University, and the Golden Goose Realty, which was a really cool building that obviously allowed you to get land tokens, and the Box Factory, which is a building that I have been long awaiting for a while. I think probably my biggest criticism of this update would be the fact that I think the sort of the quest line and the prize track and the kind of structure of the update as a whole was there wasn't a strong theme to it. Obviously, it was kind of just something they created, but I do think they did a really good job with what they did. It was interesting, and it was it was quite gripping in some ways. So I think overall, this definitely gets a thumbs up. It's definitely a thumbs up update. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, that is Not Yet Spring Cleaning. The second update of the year was, of course, Love Springfieldian Style. So this was, of course, our Valentine's Day update, which is really unusual because we actually got a full-length update for Valentine's Day, which we haven't got in a while. So we got Mr. Bergstrom, Groundskeeper Wilma, Gender, obviously from the future episodes, Gloria, Samantha Stanky, Principal Donderlinger, or whatever his name is, the principal, Nika McKenna, Chaz Busby, Nedwood Flanders Sr., Capri Flanders, and Vicky Valentine. Loads of cool buildings as well. Won't go through all of them, but obviously you guys remember stuff like Joe's Tavern and the Speedy Mart, all those kind of Shelbyville buildings. We got the Springfield Union Station, Miss Tillington's School, Oldie Springfield Townie. That was pretty cool. So some really interesting buildings. And overall, it was a great theme. I personally think this has definitely got a thumbs up. I thoroughly enjoyed this update. I thought it was a great way. I think the Not Yet Spring Cleaning was a little bit of a iffy way to kick off the year, but I definitely think this being the first major event of the year was definitely a positive. So I think this one gets a big thumbs up. It was definitely a great update. Next up, of course, we have good point, State of Despair. Oh, now this is funny because I completely forgot about this update. I honestly kind of thought this was last year, not gonna lie. So State of Despair, we got Governor Mary Bailey and Judge Constant Harm. Of course, this was a mini event. We got some cool buildings. The Juvenile Courthouse is kind of cool, and the Springfield Mystery Spot is quite nice too. So I'll give it that. We got some pretty cool buildings. Also, we did get the Sky Finger Monument, which was I would say, a very important decoration to get. It kind of was a new feature, obviously, to let you collect all the money at once in your town, which I do think is it's a good feature. The Field Trip Memorial is pretty funny as well. I quite like that decoration. I had talked about that before, and them adding it. So I do think this update was decent. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible, but it's a difficult one. I think it's just about it's a really weak thumbs up, but it just about gets it. So I will give it a thumbs up, but only just. But And I think one of the main reasons why I only just give it a thumbs up is it was a little weak. It wasn't amazing, but the Skyfinger Monument was really good. I do think Judge Constant Harm was pretty cool as well, and Governor Mary Bailey was all right. So I think it just about gets the thumbs up. So there you go. Then we come on to a Classless Reunion. So this, of course, was another mini update. This was focusing mainly on, obviously, Homer's high school life. And we got no characters, but we got a prom-time Homer skin for teenage Homer. So, yeah. I'm not a big fan of this, I'll be honest. I think it's really bad. I mean, we got no buildings either. We got like 4 decorations. I just think overall, content-wise, it gave us nothing. And there was quite a break as well in between the previous update and this update. I just think overall it was just really lackluster. It didn't have anything to it, and the quest line was quite boring and predictable. You know, it's going through Marge and Homer's sort of love life when they were teens. They've done that multiple times, and I said this in my update. I think it would have been perfect if they held off on giving us the principal in Valentine's Day and gave us this update, because obviously he's tied to that story, so it would have made sense. Yeah, I just think that was a poor judgment there, and I think overall I just wasn't a massive fan of the update, so it gets a thumbs down from me. Although I did like the photo booth thing, I thought that was kind of cool. I just think overall the update wasn't great, so yeah, thumbs down from me, unfortunately, for this update. And then we follow through with Marge at the Bat. Yeah, did not like this update at all. So, Marge at the Bat was a minor update, another minor update that just gave us returning stuff. Now, I would be fine with this if it was included on the backbone of another update. Like, I wouldn't be too bothered with this update if it was like on the backbone of, say, a Classless Reunion. So we got a Classless Reunion and this update. That wouldn't be so bad. Like, obviously a Classless Reunion wasn't a great update, but it wouldn't be too bad because obviously it's kind of connecting with another update. But the fact that this was on its own and it kind of took up like a 2-week period, yeah, it just instantly gets a thumbs down because it didn't give us anything. Not really got much more to say about it. It just was lackluster, didn't give us anything, and was just boring and kind of time-consuming. The Real Moms of Springfield. Yeah, I liked this update. I thought it was quite good. We got Mrs. Prince, Jerry Mackelberry, Jake Boyman as well, which was a cool skin for Lisa. Oh, shoot. Did that come this year? Oh my god, I actually forgot to put that in the Christmas updates. I'm just realising this now. Oh my god. I'm sorry. That was a great costume. Oh no, that is my fault completely. Yeah, I forgot completely. Oh my... There you go, this is a reveal. I generally forgot that we got Jake Boyman. In, yeah, shit. Oh man, I'm kind of annoyed at myself. Because that definitely was the best costume, I would say. Although I forgot it. But wow. Okay. Yeah. And we got some cool buildings as well. 2 cool buildings. I thought overall it was a solid mini update. I'm so annoyed at myself that I forgot Jake Boyman to put in the costumes. Oh wow. I'm so annoyed at myself. Because that definitely might have won. That could have won. Oh. Might have to do a rematch for the costumes. We're going to do a costume rematch. I'm telling you now. Alright? We'll do a costume rematch. We'll see, actually. We'll see about it. But yeah, wow, okay. But yeah, overall, I think this was a great update. So yeah, thumbs up for this update. Also, I do want to say, I kind of hope that this becomes a new tradition. Maybe next year they can do a Father's Day one, and they can do the husbands for those 2 characters. Because Father's Day falls roughly the same time, so they could definitely do things like they could do the husbands of those 2 characters. Obviously, Mr. Prince and Mr. Mackelberry. Yeah, I hope they do that. But yeah, I'm annoyed about that Jake Boyman thing. I really am. But yeah, overall, good update. Then we come across Game of Games, which is our second major update of this year. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I'll be honest, I think there was good things in here. I quite like Report Card and Stick Up Walrus. They were kind of cool. Dash Dingo, although it was voted the worst character, I don't think it was that bad. Yeah, there was some, and the rest of the characters were kind of crappy, to be honest, or very mediocre. The skins were all right, but they were nothing too amazing, I don't think. And the buildings were just all over the place. We got Blockoland, which, I mean, I'm okay with. The E4 Convention Center is quite awkward to place. Even the COE Champion Arena is awkward to place. Happy Little Elves Farm, it didn't really make sense why it was added, and it's not interesting at all. Maple HQ is a bit awkward as well, but I don't mind it overall. It was okay. But yeah, just the buildings weren't great in this, and I think that was a major thing for me. They added a lot of decorations, but they were overall quite forgettable and kind of crappy. So I think personally this update is just a thumbs down for me. Didn't really enjoy it too much, so yeah, unfortunately it gets the thumbs down. Also, we did get the 4th of July update in this update, although it wasn't anything really. But I will mention it because technically I would constitute it as a minor update. That's how I like to split these kind of updates up now. I think we got major updates, which is obviously, major updates and multi-updates. Mini updates, which of course everyone knows what a mini update is. And then minor updates is anything anything that doesn't have like a kind of prize track to it. So it is just, it's just adding some stuff to the stores or giving us something for free or, some dialogue or whatever, or returning items, that kind of thing. We got 4th of July. Now, this is the thing. I always kind of liked 4th of July just if it remained as let's get a president every year. And I liked that. I liked the idea of getting a president every year. But they didn't do it this year. And I was actually really disappointed because I thought it was kind of a tradition that they were doing. Like, we've got a president ever since Abraham Lincoln. We've got one. And I thought they were going to give us another one, and I was trying to guess which president it would be. And yeah, I'm quite disappointed that they didn't do it this year. We are going to get a vice president we're going to get one in the 4th act. I haven't quite played the 4th act yet of Tapped Out. I don't know if it's out yet, but yeah, we're going to get a vice president there. But it just feels weird, and I think I will have to give this one a thumbs down. Probably my first thumbs down, just because it kind of ruined the tradition. So yeah. Flanders family reunion. This was interesting. I didn't see this coming, and I thought it was very cool. Of course, we got Canadian Flanders, Lord Thistlewick Flanders, Coach Pummelhorst, and Ted Flanders. What I do want to mention, though, is obviously Coach Pummelhorst came in the mystery box, and I should have mentioned that in the Classless Reunion. But of course, the Classless Reunion gave us those new mystery boxes that were quite cheap. And a lot of people obviously like them. I will say they are very cool, but I just don't think it overall gets the point for Classless Reunion. But this update I did think was really good. It had a really good theme, solid theme to it. Although we only got 2 buildings, but I think overall it was okay. The characters balanced out quite well, and the story was very good. So I thoroughly enjoyed this update. I found it quite cool and interesting, and I kind of hope they do something similar in the future with some more Flanders relatives, because we've still got quite a few to get. We still got his grandmother, and we still need a skin for Mod, like a human version of Mod Flanders. So yeah, definitely was really awesome, and I kind of want to see more from this kind of theme. And yeah, I think overall it was a really good update. So it gets the thumbs up, of course. And then next up, we have the Simpsons Babies update. Oh boy! Now, I've still not decided personally which I think's worse, this update or the Game of Games. But I did not like this update, really. I just think, although it has a great theme to it, and I will say, so hats off to them. They got the structure and they got the theme down quite well. And not saying Game of Games didn't, but I do think Game of Games 1 was a little less tied together properly. I just think I'm not a fan of these kind of these characters that really should be skins. So obviously we've got all the babies, like baby Homer, baby Marge, baby Lisa, baby Bart, baby Frink, baby young Burns, teenage Smithers. Like, I just don't think that they are necessary. They could just be skins, and I don't understand why they're not skins, because now we've got like 15 Homer doppelgangers, I swear. It's ridiculous. We've got so many kind of different age versions of like Homer and Bart. Bart we got 3, Homer we've got 3 as well. It wouldn't surprise me if they had like an older Homer as well in the future. Yeah, I just think it's just crazy, really, and I don't really like it too much. Although, that being said, I think this update was very solid on buildings. I think the buildings is actually a real big takeaway from this update, because the buildings are great, and I think for buildings, this is probably the best update of the year for building wise. But I think overall, although there's some great buildings in here, and I think the buildings were very strong, I just think I gotta give it a thumbs down overall, unfortunately. And it's a difficult one, because I often think that maybe an update can be positive just from its buildings, but it's difficult. If we had like 3 solid characters in this update, I'd definitely give it a thumbs up, even if like 10 of them were awful characters. But I just don't think it was quite there. It's just not quite good enough, so it gets a thumbs down, but it's only a just thumbs down, and that's purely because of the buildings. Next up, we have Krusty's Last Gasp Online. This is a difficult one. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of this one. I do think it's got its good points. Like, I quite like some of the buildings. I think the Krusty's Clown College, Club Krusty, Adult Retreat, and the Krusty's Retreat is pretty cool. Like, but they're nothing amazing. Like, they are pretty generic buildings. I think the only standout would be the Clown College. The decorations are pretty bad. I mean, the Krusty Kita's set and the Last Gasp stage. Yeah, I'm not a fan of them. They're just horrible to place. The Club Krusty pool's okay, I guess. We also got, obviously, Sideshow Lisa as a costume, and the only character we got was Sideshow Raheem. Sideshow Raheem is not terrible, but I think he's actually quite a cool character. But is it enough to give this update a thumbs up? I don't think it quite is. Personally, I think, again, this is a similar situation with the Simpsons babies. I think it's a thumbs down, but it's only just a thumbs down. I just don't think it was that memorable, and we really got that much content in it. Plus, I don't think the questline was that great either, from what I remember. So, yeah, that's for Krusty's Last Gasp Online. Just about thumbs down. Next up, we have Cthulhu's Revenge. This is an interesting one, because at first I wasn't a massive fan of it, but now I'm tempted. Because I like Cthulhu. I thought Cthulhu was a cool character, and I thought Munster was kind of cool to finally get as a proper character in the game. I quite like that, because he's been kind of, he's been in decorations and things like that for a while, so I'm kind of glad that he was finally added as a proper character. Cthulhu was pretty cool. Like I said, Cthulhu was cool too. The buildings we got were the Fogbury Port, the Lighthouse and Pier, the Cthulhu Monument, Relia, Bermuda, Triangle Layer, and yeah, that was it. Oh wait, no, the Foggy Port, Lighthouse and Pier was one building. So we got 3 buildings overall. I don't know why I read that wrong. And then we got 2 decorations. We got the Fogbury Cemetery, which I think is pretty cool. Probably should be a building, to be honest. And the oyster eating table. Yeah, I personally, it's not a strong update, but I think I would give this a thumbs up. I do think it was pretty solid. Although I think the timing of it was a little weird. It was kind of odd that we got this before Halloween. But yeah, I thought overall I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite refreshing. It was something a bit interesting and something a bit new. It is based entirely on obviously the opening of a Halloween Treehouse of Horror episode. It's just based on the opening, so it's pretty unusual, but I think it worked, so yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. And then, of course, next we have Treehouse of Horror XXX, or 30, if you will. Yeah, this is a weird one. Now, I don't. It's a difficult one for me because first of all, characters. The characters are a perfect example. Now, there's some like very mediocre characters in here. I think Malicious Crub is quite mediocre. I personally think Zia Simpson's quite mediocre as well. Then we got some bad characters like the Gelatinous Homer and the Martin of the Opera. Now, the reason I'd say that Gelatinous Homer is bad is because it should be a goddamn costume. It doesn't make any sense why it's a character. It's just adding one of these other doppelgangers into the town, and it really annoys me when they do this. Then we got some really good characters like Monkey Paw Salesman. I quite liked him. Lucy from Satan was pretty cool. The Mr. Dr. Griffin, the Invisible Man, was pretty cool. God, of course. God is a standout. Kamala was pretty cool. Bridge Mo was terrible though. Bridge Mo was a bad character. And then we have buildings. The buildings for this were obviously, well, there weren't loads. There was like Hagen Death, Dracula's Castle, Seven Sisters, Free Bear's House, Rigel 7, and the Invisible House. So there was some okay buildings. Decorations were a bit scarce though. There was a few in there, a few like the woods and stuff like that, which is quite generic. But I think I'm inclined to give it a weak thumbs up. So it gets a thumbs up, but it's not a strong thumbs up. I thought the story was okay as well. Like overall, I actually quite enjoyed this Halloween. So which is weird because I kind of admitted this last year, but I really dislike a lot of the Halloween updates. Like although I get pleasure from them, like occasionally, I don't know. I always find it like a drag. Like Halloween always drags out for me personally. I don't know why. I think maybe I'm just a Scrooge for Halloween. Who knows? So yeah, thumbs up, just about. Next up, we of course have the All American Auction. This is another difficult one, I think. Because it's not bad. It's quite forgettable, I think. That's probably my best kind of phrase for this update is forgettable. So of course we got the Springfield Swap Meet, Springfield Storage Locker. We got both Paul Bunyan and CJ Pro Bidder. Yeah, but I don't think the story was that strong with this one. It felt like a lot of shit kind of thrown together, and they tried to make it into an update. So, being brutally honest, I think I will give it a thumbs down. Again, it's not a strong thumbs down, but I think just overall it wasn't that great, I don't think. And yeah, there wasn't really anything that stood out for me. I think the Paul Bunyan character was like, it's okay, and I'm fine with Paul Bunyan being a character and not a costume. It makes sense, but the same strength, it's not that memorable and it's not that unique of a character. CJ Probito wasn't exactly great either, so I think two quite lackluster characters that don't really mean very much in terms of the Simpsons kind of universe. So yeah, I think overall it wasn't that great, so I'm gonna give it a thumbs down. But I can understand if people do like this update because I don't think it's terrible. It's just not great. And then next up, we of course have the Black Friday update. This is a thumbs down. I'm not even going to explain why. Well, I will explain why. The main reason is, of course, it's all paid items. You have to pay to win, sort of thing. You have to pay to actually unlock them, which is horrible because it doesn't give any players who don't buy donuts or hack or anything. It doesn't give them the option to get these items. So yeah, screw that. So overall, big thumbs down for this update. And then finally, we of course have the Christmas update, which is obviously titled Abe's in Toyland, our most current update. Good update, I think, overall. I've kind of given I don't want to give my thoughts too much away just because I still need to do my Act 3 and 4 review, but yeah, overall, I think it was it's a pretty solid update. Definitely a lot of fun, and it's got some kind of a lot of good characters in there. Obviously, a lot of Abe's family. I do agree that it's not entirely Christmas based, and I think that is a fair criticism of it. I just think overall it kind of is outweighed by all the positives of the update. So I would say it's a good update overall. But like I said, don't want to spoil too much because I don't want to kind of give away a lot of my opinions. So I want to leave that for both my Act 3 and 4 and my content list. So yeah. So anyway, that is it for Abe's in Toyland and every single update this year. So yeah, that is every update this year. Obviously reviewed from the not yet spring cleaning all the way to this kind of Christmas update that we're still going through technically, but I'm gonna count it as 20. It started in 2019, so we'll stick with it. So yeah, what can you stay tuned? So next there should be tomorrow anyway. Sometime tomorrow there should be a what you can expect from Tapped Out in 2020, and I'll also do a what can you expect from Magnus Robert in 2020. And then I'll probably start doing my 2019 list videos. So I'll do my top 10 characters, top 10 buildings, and then I'll do like a ranked for the costumes and ranked for the mini events, major events, and minor events. And there's not much point doing NPC because there's only one, so I won't bother doing that. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me your thoughts on this year as a whole. What was your favourite update? What was your least favourite update? Maybe try and spice up a little bit. Or tell me your kind of least favourite major, least favourite mini, and you don't really have to do minor because they're all kind of crappy. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next year if you're still technically just about you American viewers anyway. It should just be about before New Year's Day, maybe, we'll see. But anyway, Happy New Year's anyway, because most of you are probably watching this and it's already 2020. So Happy New Year's, and I hope you have a great 2020. So yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.